At a time when abstract expressionism was at its height, American painter David Park made a bold pivot. While holding onto elements of abstraction, such as action painting and a lively palette, he incorporated the figure, using photo-like cropping and a surprising use of scale, initiating a historic new direction in painting. Fun-loving, social, driven, a man without pretense, Park would become known as the originator of the Bay Area Figurative Movement. Born in 1911, Park was raised in a conventional and cultivated Boston family. His father was a Unitarian minister, his mother a housewife. Out of the 4 children, David stood out as the oddball, ignoring all that disinterested him: school, church, athletics, and devoted himself to his passions, art and music. When he failed to graduate high school, his parents, at a loss, allowed Park's aunt, Edith Truesdell, a formally trained painter, educator, kindred spirit, and saving grace, to take her nephew west for the summer. According to Park's daughter Helen, Truesdale was David's mentor and ally all his life. Precocious and essentially self-taught, Park's formal artistic training was minimal: a semester at Otis College of Art and Design in LA, some summer classes at UC Berkeley, after which he held a variety of odd jobs: stonecutter, muralist, trying to get by during the Depression years. His influences, Picasso and abstract expressionism, clearly evident in his early work. In 1930, at age 19, he married Lydia Newell. Within 3 years, they had 2 daughters. This same year, Matisse spoke at a lunch attended by the young Park. His advice? Talk less, work more, an ethos Park took to heart. During this time, his work, while moderately well received, was not making an impact. In 1941, Park, too old for the draft, supported the war effort by running a crane during the graveyard shift at a defense plant and continued to paint. Due to the scarcity of materials, Park mixed melted pigmented beeswax with thinned oil paint, which he applied with a palette knife. The thick paint developed during a time of deprivation would become a signature of his work. 2 years later, Park got a job teaching at the California School of Fine Arts, known today as the San Francisco Art Institute, where he developed long and enduring friendships with painters Elmer Bischoff and Richard Diebenkorn. But he still had yet to find his artistic voice. At the time, Park was, quote, concerned with big abstract ideals like vitality, energy, profundity, warmth. They became my gods. But I realized that those paintings practically never, even vaguely, approximated any achievement of my aims. Park realized that concentrating on principle and abstraction drew attention to the painter rather than the painting. He no longer wanted to work in this style, seeking instead warmth, liveliness, and spontaneity, which he felt must be explored through the figure. The result? In 1949, he gathered up his abstract work, drove it to the dump, and started over. Out poured boldly cropped figurative works of everyday scenes painted from memory, energetic, gestural compositions that shocked his contemporaries. To quote Nancy Boas, art historian and Park biographer, "It was a brave and lonely move, and for almost 3 years, even his friends didn't understand what he was doing." The first piece to emerge after Park's dramatic shift was The Rehearsal, a portrait that captured the warmth and dynamism of the Studio 13 jazz band founded by Park and Bischoff. Diebenkorn, teaching in New Mexico at the time, said, "My God, what's happened to David?" In 1951, Kids on Bikes won the San Francisco Art Association annual competition. According to Boas, Park had an exceptional ability to give the eye just enough information to hold the image together. Within the next few years, both Bischoff and Diebenkorn began painting figuratively, and soon a whole generation of San Francisco painters followed suit, including Theophilus Brown, Nathan Oliveira, Manuel Neary, and Joan Brown. In 1952, after resigning from the school over a political issue, Park once again sought work, but this time his wife told him to focus on his painting, that she would support them. Park referred to it as his Lydia Park Fellowship. At the height of his career in 1959, New York art dealer George Stempfli put on a solo show of Park's work, a hard-won affirmation of his accomplishments by the New York art world. 1 year later, he died from cancer. He was just 49. Park's work, widely exhibited, is held at venerable institutions including the Smithsonian, the LA County Museum of Art, the Whitney, and the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art, which, in 2020, curated David Park, a retrospective. To quote his daughter Helen, "When David painted, he went in so deep and came out so simply that what you see is the human soul on canvas." Thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing and sharing. Until next time.